A lot of games came out in 2021, some good, some bad, some just downright ugly. Tonight, Rolling with the Beard, Mike stops by and we discuss our top 10 games released in 2021.
Yeah. I feel like we're a little late to the party on this list. It's out there a lot.
No, but see, the problem with that is these people are releasing these videos in 2021. What if you had a New Year's party and you played just the dopest game that night and then...
I did see some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think our list will be the definitive.
100%.
Because we didn't play, we only played the cream of the crop, so we only have the top. It was hard to pick 10 of the best when all you play is the best.
Well, little secret, I only played 5 new games this year. Here's my top 10.
Although, I think we should start the video not with honorable mentions, not with good games. I think we should start this video with the worst game of 2021. Because I've not seen that on anybody else's list.
That's true.
And I know for a fact I played the worst game that came out in 2021.
Was it Vivid Memories?
No, but that was close. Yeah.
It was so bad. I saw it when I was making this list. I was like, "What is Vivid Memories?" And then I clicked on it, and oh yeah, that game.
There was a couple games that we played at Origins that I thought weren't great. Excuse me, choke on my water. I wasn't a big fan of Kabuto Sumo or whatever it was.
I regret not buying it. I don't know why. I kind of had fun and wish I had played it more.
You probably had more fun than I did because you beat me.
That is very possible.
But no, the worst game, and it pains me. Alien Fate of Nostromo.
It's funny, I just got a comment today on that video about somebody telling me how wrong I was. Actually, they were very nice about it. They just said that, they dig it. And I'm like, that's good for you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I don't dig it.
It makes me sad that people can go to Target and buy this game.
I feel like that's a bold statement, but it just didn't click with us at all.
It wasn't good. Disney Gargoyles Awaken also wasn't the greatest, but it was a little bit better than Alien.
Still better than Alien.
At least you had 3-dimensional buildings.
Yes.
That really meant nothing.
That don't fit back into the box fully assembled. So you can take it down, put it back, take it down. The Wave just texted, and that's when Wavelength came out, because that game flopped pretty hard with our family.
Wavelength? I didn't play that one.
Yeah, you should probably keep it that way.
So, like I said, this will be the definitive list of 2021 games.
The list of all lists.
And this is per BGG. I don't know. On my list, at least, I didn't go into that. Did it come out in January? Did it come out in December? If BGG said 2021, it was a 2021 game.
Yeah, I did the same as well, although I'm certain there were a handful of fantastic games that didn't make my list because Board Game Geek has them as 2020 releases.
Yeah. I was really surprised that some of the games I played this year that I thought were 2021 releases were not. So.
Yeah. So, honorable mentions?
Honorable mention for me would be, it was close. If it was my number 10 for a minute, then it was back to 11, back and forth, and it ended up as number 11. So I would say my honorable mention would be The Hunger. So it was a good game. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I think that I'm not a real big fan of the clank and the hunger. The further you go away, if you don't make it back, you can't win. So I don't know. I like the art. I like the idea. I like deck builders, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of going too far from the castle, not making it back in time, and losing the game.
That sounds like a Mike problem.
It's a Mike problem. So that's my honorable mention. It was a good game, just a little short on my list. So.
I had 2 honorable mentions. One is Ankh. I thought it was fantastic, but we've only played it once, and we played it as a 3-player game. And with the whole joining of powers towards the end in a 3-player game, I feel is really bizarre. So I feel like we played it with the worst possible player count. But I'm excited to play it again, and I 3D printed all the extra pieces that I didn't get with the Kickstarter campaign because I got on board late and bought it retail.
Yeah, I'm excited to give it a try, but that catch-up mechanism is a little strange.
Very strange, very strange. All right. Number 10.
So my number 10 is a game that I know did not make your list because you just didn't seem to like it as much as me, and it went back and forth between number 10 and 11 with the hunger, kind of back and forth. But when it all came out, I decided that I really do like this one better. I like it. I know more than you. It's made by Jamie Stegmaier for Stonemaier Games. I love this game. I don't love it, but I mean, I really do like it. Red Rising. So this is
my copy.
This is your copy of Red Rising.
The collector's edition that has been dropped half a dozen times. It's such a bummer. I really hate that. I do use the little card holders.
Oh, the card holders?
Yeah,
Those
I
are
actually
nice.
keep them in the kitchen table.
So I did enjoy this game, and I can understand why some people don't like it, but I do like the hand management aspects and how you're trying to basically procure the best set of cards by the end of the game, and you draw a card, you play a card, draw a card, play a card, draw a card, and you're trying to make sure you don't draw cards that make your hand worse than it already is. Sometimes you get forced into situations, but I really love the components. I love the box art. I think that's one of the things that really kind of drew me to it. I read the book. The game doesn't really go so much with the book, but if you have read the books, the characters are here, and it's kind of fun to see the characters, Darrow and Mustang, and all the people that you read in the book, or you see the cards with them on there. It's kind of cool. So I enjoy this game. I like it best, I think, at 2-player. But that is my number 10, Red Rising. I recommend it. I think you can buy this one at Target now, actually.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see titles like that at Target. My number 10 is a light card game with some push your luck elements and a little bit of bidding, which can be pretty nasty. And it just so happens to be titled 10. What a perfect slot for it. I think subconsciously that probably heavily weighed in, to it being in the 10th position. But this game has gone over well with everyone I've played, and takes a play or two. It's really easy to understand, but you start seeing the strategy with the bidding and bidding other players up, and then maybe taking cards and using cards to purchase or bid on cards that you really need. It's just a solid game, and it is an abstracted art situation going on, but the cards do look really pretty, and they have spot UV. The only issue I see with the game, and this is really nitpicking, is it is a big old deck, and it is thick stock, and it is difficult to shuffle.
Yeah, that's pretty nitpicky. It's a great game. I really love it. I like the art a lot. I like how the cards splay.
Yes.
In the artwork, if you put if the cards go out in number order, the artwork kind of goes along with them as you set them out. So it's really cool.
Low key, awesome. Totally pick it up.
For sure.
Definitely worth it.
Yep.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9 was a game designed by Ted Alspach, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Bezier Games, and it is down there, baby.
Ooh.
Maglev Metro, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure.
I think it's Magnetic Levitation Metro. I thought it was a place.
You're correct. It is Magnetic Levitation Rail.
It says it on the box.
It says it on the box.
Always read the box, kids.
So this is, I think I would call this maybe a pick up and deliver game. It's a really cool twist on train games. So I enjoy train games. I thought this one was really unique because the tiles you lay down with all of your train tracks or magnetic levitation rail tracks have your player color on them, and they're clear, so you can I can put my red levitation rail down, and then he could put his blue on top of mine, and the tiles stack, and you're able to see the different colored rails all intertwining and going back and forth. So I thought this was really cool. I really like the action selection in it and how you can kind of move your robots around to change up your actions, and it was just really unique. I found this game to be quite unique, and it has a lot more strategy, more depth in it than I thought it would.
So much. that game almost made my honorable mention on the pieces and components alone. Like the production on that game is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't think I know of any other game where the tiles are clear and stackable like that with the player colors. So, yeah, it's nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
My number 9 should have been my number 7. Seven Wonders Architects. This game is Seven Wonders Light. It's what it is. If you want it to be anything more than that, it's not, and you're going to be disappointed. But it has fantastic table presence. Once you teach the game in a couple minutes, bam, 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 you can knock out a game of it in 15 minutes. It's satisfying. I just think it's great. The components are fantastic. It even comes with, I don't know if they're game trays or not, but these nice little handy dandy trays for each of the 7 wonders that you can build. It plays 7 players. Solid. It's just a solid game.
The components are great. Those player trays are really nice. How it all goes back in the box, and everybody has their own individual tray. You can just pull them out. This game really fell short for me. I think I was in the boat, like you said. If I was expecting a little bit more. And I came out disappointed. So it's Seven Wonders very light in my opinion. I didn't dislike it. It just fell really short for me. I feel like I would like to play it with my 6-year-old. But given the choice between this and like a Dragomino, I think I'd rather just play Dragomino. Something about it just didn't click with me.
Well, you only have 3 options during your turn. You can take a card from between you and the player to your left, or to you and the player to the right, or there's like these wild cards or whatever in the middle, and that's your 3 options. But it just flows so well.
Yeah, I don't know. In the you get the kitty cat. Mm-hmm. You can pick up the kitty cat, and if you get the kitty cat, your special power is you get a look at the top card of the one in the middle and see if you won or not, which seems like a good power, but nobody ever takes the top card from the middle. So once you look at it, you're like, oh, I don't really
take the top card.
I don't like that card. You put it back down, and then it just sits there, and obviously you're not going to take it, and I don't know. The game that we played, you never took the card from the middle. Not once. He's a liar.
Maybe I like it because I win it all the time.
You've won this game 12 times in a row, I think.
2, 3.
Oh, wait.
4, 5, 6, 7,
couple.
8, 9 victories.
So, long story short, Eric is really, really good at children's games.
Yeah.
No, it's an okay game. It just fell a little short for me.
It is perfect in every way. Number 8.
My number 8 is a game by Pierre Sylvester, published by Osprey Games. Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland, or also known as the Hoch Konig von Ireland. This game kind of took me a little bit by surprise. I think the artwork is ugly. I think the board is ugly.
Art is subjective.
Yeah, I really didn't care for how the board with all the colored dots, and then you were putting your colored chips on them.
I could see that being an issue.
It made it a little busy and kind of hard to see what was going on. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this game. I like the card drafting and combined with the trick taking, and this is the only trick taking game that I think of where like sometimes you actually want to lose the trick. The cards are multi-powered. If you win the trick, you get one thing. If you lose the trick, you get the bottom power of the cards. And sometimes you want the bottom power, so you're hoping to not win a trick. I like the area majority pieces of it. There's some tracks you can climb up and down. So overall, I really enjoyed this game. It's relatively short.
It is, especially if everyone knows how to play it.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to play. So, yeah, my only little nitpicky thing is I'm not a big fan of the art on the board. The board is a little not clear to me, I guess.
That's a little bland, but I mean, usually too focused on the upcoming eligible bachelor.
Yeah. Try to get married.
Yeah, he can make arrows. He's dreamy. Yeah, this one definitely a fantastic game. This is one of the few trick-taking games I like. This is Skull King. But yeah, trick-taking the area control game, as soon as I heard that, I knew I was going to be in love with Brian.
Yeah.
My number 8 is a tile laying game, Cascadia. When this game first came out, it was hyped up so much. I was a little let down by it at first, but it grew on me quickly, and now it was definitely one of my top games that I played in 2021, and that was released in 2021. The art is nice. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of it though, but just the simple mechanism of drafting these tiles, wanting to have majority areas of these tiles, not quite area control, but just drafting the tiles and plopping these little animal discs on there. Satisfying. It's moves quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I like this game. I liked it the first time we played it. It exceeded my expectations. The art I didn't think was that great. I thought the tiles were the art on them wasn't that great. The chips, I don't know, they were okay. But the gameplay is really satisfying. I like all the different scoring mechanisms, how they change up, and how you want certain animals together, certain animals far apart, certain animals in a straight line. And I really appreciate how they tried to tie in a lot of the culture or region history, I don't know what you want to call it, about the area, the Cascadia area, and the animals and things like that. So yeah, it's a great game. It's a good choice.
Thank you.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7. This is the first crossover on our list. I thought we'd have a lot more crossovers. I'm kind of surprised we haven't. This is the first one. We play a lot of games together, so I would tend to think
because you have horrible taste in games, Michael.
That's true. Your list is terrible. But my number 7 is, I believe, was your number
10.
10, yeah. And we pretty much already talked this one up. But yeah, I'm a big fan of push your luck games. 10 is right there in that sweet spot. I like Port Royal and Dead Man's Draw and things like that. So I like a good trick taking game. This one's a good family weight game. The colors just are striking. It's just really fun to play.
Speaking of Port Royale, totally pumped for that big box Port Royale. I imagine it'll be the size of that box. But
this box is a little bigger than the original Port Royal box, I think. Maybe, so. Yeah, my number 7. Crossover with his number 2.
My number 7, Micro Macro Full House Crime City. I know, I think the original one came out in 2020, or was it 2021? I don't know. Either way, I didn't get my hands on that one. So this was the only one available at the time, and man, is it neat. I know it says 1 to 4 players, which is a lie. I can't fathom playing this with more than 2 players, but I tell you what, it's pretty fun for you and your significant other to just spread this big boy out on the table and try to solve these crimes. It's satisfying when, and it has a nice learning curve, because each case gives you a little envelope with these different people and stuff that you have to find throughout the map. It's almost like a Where's Waldo, but like a time-lapse Where's Waldo, if that makes any sense. Anyways, it's definitely something that you need to play.
Like, Where's Waldo next?
Yes. And it is so cool. It helps out about little bingo chips too, of like colors, so you can like lay them on the map when you're trying to solve the mysteries.
So you have, this is your number 7. Do you think this replaces Micro Macro City crimes?
I don't think so. My understanding is it's just more of the same. But
so once you get through all these scenarios, then you still...
Yeah. Yep. And yeah. And the cool thing too is after you finish it, you don't destroy any of the components in it, so you could bless your friend with it as well when you're done with it, and let them enjoy it.
Maybe somebody who doesn't have it on his top 10 list. That's me.
Number 6.
All right, my number 6 is a game designed by Ivan Lashin from Arcane Wonders. This is a game that I knew I would like as soon as I saw the box, because it has a lovely bearded man on it. Furnace. This is an engine building game. I really like I don't know if you call that steampunk art, or what you would call that, kind of just gritty, dark, coal miner kind of stuff. But this game is a brain burner. Way more than I thought it would be. It has that really neat auction mechanism where you have chips that are, the bigger chips are more valued and the smaller ones are less, and you put your chips on the cards, bidding for those cards.
Almost worker placement-ish.
Yeah, almost worker placement-ish. But if you lose an auction, you still get some benefits from the cards, and then the person wins the card gets the card. But you're building a tableau, and then at the end of every round, your furnace, your engine fires, and you can, the way you decide to fire your furnace is kind of where the brain burning part comes in. Because it really, especially towards the end, like the last round of the game, you have all these cards. You're trying to figure out, well, if I fire this card first, I'm going to get these resources, which I can use on this card to generate these resources, which turn these resources into this, into that, and blah, 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 and hopefully get some points. So, but it's a relatively quick game as well. I think a game this takes, what, maybe 30 minutes?
Unless you're playing with somebody with AP and there's late rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. It definitely could lend itself to some serious AP, but it's really fun. It's a really thinky game. I love the dark art on it, so highly recommend.
I concur. My number 6 is For the King in Me. And if you're familiar with myself or the channel at all, you'll know that I am a huge fan of Biblios. I rated it an 8 because it is an 8. Anywho, this is just the rebranding of Biblios, which is kind of a, I don't know if you want to call it push your luck drafting-ish type game. The first half is kind of like collecting cards, and you want to have like majority of certain colored cards. And then the second half is bidding on the cards that were discarded throughout the game. And this does the same exact thing. The only difference is this plays up to 5, which is the whole reason I got it. And there is a second place for having the majority of like the greatest sum of red cards or the greatest sum of blue cards. There is a second place in this one, which I have mixed feelings about that. I still prefer Biblios to this.
I've not played this
but
version.
I just love it so much.
I feel like I would like the second place option. Does it second place only for a certain player count?
No, all the time. And it is half of the normal value.
So if you're playing a 2-player game,
you can get second.
Yeah, that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do enjoy Biblios, and I think that, yeah, Kingdom Me is probably really fun.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5 is a game designed by Don Riddle and Aethers Games. I don't think I've ever played anything from that designer or publisher. I only played this game one time, and we actually don't have a copy of this game to show because neither one of us own it. Our friend picked this up at Origins this year. We played it one time, and I just thought it was really cool. It was definitely different. Ruins of Mars.
That's what I was trying to think of as one of my least favorites of.
Really? Your least favorite, huh?
I don't know. It just didn't.
I like that. I like yeah. Wow. And this is my number 5, not even 10, 5. No, I really like this game. I liked I liked all the resource tiles and how they were like,
that was cool.
Chunky dominoes, and you had the Mars rover that moved along the path, and you picked your action, and depending on what resource tiles were there with the different options, kind of affect how you took your action. Those shifted and changed back and forth, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. I liked how you could, you were purchasing new cards. You can only buy level B after you bought the level A's, and you can only buy the C's, and you're moving up on the different tracks. It was like language and technology and things like that. So I don't know. I enjoyed the gameplay. I definitely would like to play it a few more times, but I don't know. I liked it. I thought Ruins of Mars was a solid game, a little different than most things that came out this year. So
I think I may have just been too excited for it. Like I thought, I saw the pieces, the big chunky like action tiles, and the box art looks fantastic. And we played it, and I just thought it was. I
don't think he won that game.
That may have had something to do. My number 5 is a Richard Garfield game that was already named, The Hunger. Really, the art and the theme on this, I also love Clank. The more I played of Clank, the more I liked it, and then this game kind of had the same effect. Actually, the first time I played The Hunger, all of us died, and none of us actually made it back to the castle. But it is a little more difficult than Clank, or at least you can't go as far as you think you could.
It is fun. I mean, it's a good deck builder. I love the art on it. I like the theme. I like the idea about, you're a vampire and you're going out and you're chasing humans, but they slow you down essentially.
Yeah, because you don't want them, but you have to eat the humans in order to get bigger points and to win the game. But luckily you can digest them, removing the cards from your deck, but you still get to score them, which thematically, that is just fantastic. And with the eating a drunk guy, you know, he makes you stumble further away from the castle. If you eat someone who's spicy, you have to use your next movement to go find a well. So it is a silly game, but it's just fun. I like it. There's a ton of cards, so you got to buy a few packs of sleeves for it. I always sleeve deck builders just because those, you know, cards that you start with get ruined pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but
the starting hands.
a lot of different cards in it. I think there's 130 different cards, maybe. There's a lot of different cards.
Yeah.
But it's a solid game.
Yeah, it is, and I like the the market action, the market phase, whatever you want to call it. How if cards aren't purchased, they start becoming cheaper, and eventually they get down to where they only cost you 1 speed to purchase them, but they start piling up. So if nobody buys it, then there'll be 2 cards, then 3 cards, and you start trying to weigh that out. There's some good cards in there, and there's the drunk guy.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to take the drunk guy along with the good cards just to get the whole pile for $1, or 1 speed? So there's some interesting choices. It is a fun game.
Hanger.
Don't eat guys at taco stands because they're spicy.
Muy caliente.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4 is from Stronghold Games by Jacob Freilis.
I'm really
a couple other
surprised
people.
that's not your number 1.
Terraforming Mars Aries Expeditions. And he's surprised that this is not my number 1 because Terraforming Mars is my all-time favorite game. This is a great game. I really like this game, but I think I'm in the minority who actually still prefer the big box over this smaller Aries Expedition version. So this was touted as Terraforming Mars, the card game. Essentially what that is, they pretty much removed the board. You still have a tiny board and some minor changes. The card play is action selection, but it's more like Race for the Galaxy, I believe, where everybody gets to take the, you know, whatever action. It's simultaneous action selection. Everybody gets to do the same action, and then whoever picked that action gets a little bit better version of that action. So I do enjoy that, but I still like the box game better. This is a good game. I recommend it. You can pick this up at Target. It is a lot of fun. It's a little bit shorter. It's not as short as I thought it would be. I kind of thought this may be played, and it still
says 60 minutes.
It says 60 minutes. I feel like that may be a little short. I feel like it might take a little bit longer than 60 minutes. And maybe I was hoping for something maybe even a little bit shorter, like a 45-minute game you can rip through, and it's a little bit longer than
Wonders?
that. Not like Seven Wonders, very light. No, this is a good game. I recommend it. It's not light. It has great gameplay. If you're familiar with Terraforming Mars, you'll easily be able to pick this up. A lot of the symbology is the same. The ideas are the same. I like it a lot. Not my number 1 game from this year, but it is a great game.
My number 4, I don't have a copy of it, but I saw you brought a copy of it. Korra.
Ah.
However you pronounce it. Yeah, man, it's just a solid game. You're building your civilization. I believe I've only played it with 2 players, but we played it a handful of times, and it made an impression large enough on me to make my top 10.
We played it at 3 as well.
Did we play it at 3?
Yeah, I played it at 2, 3. I played it at 4 as well. I think 2's the sweet spot.
The art on the cards is fantastic. The action selection, it's kind of got a scotch of Castles of Burgundy-ish feel to it for me, where you roll the dice and you lay them on the different actions to take them, and it's just a fine.
Number 3.
All right, my number 3 game of 2021 is a little game designed by Eric Mosso, Cape May. So I was just really, I fell in love with the art. As soon as I saw this box, as soon as I saw this game coming out, I was like, wow, that just looks really cool. The lighthouses, the whole beachfront kind of vibe to it, the 1950s, 20s, 10s. I don't know what these people are with umbrellas and lighthouses, but the theme just really took me. And when I played it, it did not fall short. It's a simple game. It feels kind of relaxing. You're moving around Cape May, you're buying properties, you're building buildings, you're upgrading your buildings, you're trying to get historical buildings. It's got some area control.
Relaxing. Man, I don't know. When I play this game, I'm like nose to the grindstone, and I still lose.
Yeah, maybe you just gotta move. You gotta zen with it,
go
man.
with the
You're on
flow.
the beach. You're looking at lighthouses. You're building up the boardwalk. It has some area control aspects to it. It plays relatively quick. I've only played it at 2 players. I'm not sure. I'm sure higher player counts, the area control is probably even a little bit better. But I really enjoyed it. I like everything about this game, I think.
It is fantastic. I was excited for the game the moment I saw it. Just the aesthetics of it and everything. It just really made quite the first impression, and the gameplay is very solid. Very solid. And the pieces, the components are fantastic.
Yeah.
Except for some of the little white picket fences
Yeah,
are really
yeah.
hard to snap onto your
Well, hey,
landmarks.
anything worth doing is worth doing hard. Anything worth doing right is worth
harding the do.
hard push, and
It's
things
not the
like
count who thoughts, but the thought.
exactly.
Did you hear they're not making yardsticks any longer? Yeah. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this. My number 3 is Ticket to Ride Europe 15th anniversary. So this game was the 15th anniversary was released this year, or 2021, and that's why it is technically on my list. I've only played a small handful of the Ticket to Rides. I haven't played Rails and Sails. But I've played the smaller ones that you have, New York and London and the original one. Anywho, this game slams. And one of the funniest thing I am most excited about with this game is the cards. It has full-size cards, and that always just drove me nuts on Ticket to Ride, because you have a ton of these little cards that you cannot shuffle worth a darn. But this one has full-size cards, are easy to shuffle. It has some of the expansions that were for Europe, which are mostly just different paths or trails or whatever that you got to make. But the Europe one introduces the tunnels, which is so exciting. Like, I got to watch my mother-in-law flip over like the wrong color cards so many times. It probably ruined the game for her, but
Tunnels
the rest of the
and
table
ferries,
enjoyed
right?
it. Yep, the ferries. It's just so good, and the pieces. Each player gets their own little tin with these fantastic little train pieces, and basically Ticket to Ride is just collecting the same color cards, trying to build these pathways while you stare at the board, waiting for somebody else to take that railroad path that you were getting ready to build, and it's just great. It really is.
So two things on this pick. Number 1, this pick is weak sauce.
So you don't like Ticket to Ride Europe?
It says on the box in big gold letters, 15 years ago that this game came out. So, okay. The one that came out 15 years ago did not have tins that contained the trains. I'll give you that. But secondly, this is a great game. Ticket to Ride Europe is by far my favorite Europe. I loved all the changes. I felt like when this one came out, I felt like it fixed some of the things that were wrong with Ticket to Ride, with some of the rules. But kind of how, like, when you get your first what are they called? Tickets. When you get your first tickets in the beginning of the game, everybody at the table is guaranteed to get a long route.
Yeah, they
extra
mitigate
points.
some of that luck there.
So yeah, because in the original Ticket to Ride, if your starting tickets were all garbage, it was going to be tough to win. If they were just going straight down the middle of the country and for 2-3 points at a time, it's not going to happen. So I like how this game also made the wild engine cards a little more valuable, because there were certain areas on the board where you had to play a wild card. Yeah, Ticket to Ride Europe is a great game. It was a great game 15 years ago as well.
In the box, I mean, the board. Well, the box is huge to house this oversized board. The board is fantastic. It looks great. It's huge. The only problem though is that huge box. Like, it doesn't fit on the bookshelf because it's every bit of like 14 by 14 or something.
That is a big box.
It's huge. It's huge. Stick of the ride.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2 is one that we had already talked about earlier.
Ah.
I believe this was your number 6, maybe 5, 6. I don't know.
8.
8. Either way, we've already said all kinds of glowing things about Cascadia, but I just really liked it. It's just such a simple game. You're drafting those tiles and you're deciding where you want to place the animals and keeping your habitats together and trying to get the biggest one and all the different scoring mechanisms. It really hit all the buttons for me. So Cascadia.
Very solid game. My number two was Cape May.
Yay!
Cape May. Yeah, it's just so good. Just go buy it. Do yourself a favor. Go buy it. It plays 4. I feel like it's just a touch on the slow side with 4. But other than that, that's really the only nitpicky thing I can think of other than the white fences. That anything that's worth harding to do, you do hard.
Yeah. You
Bam
do hard
blam.
push. Ding dong.
Shwalala bing bong.
Number 1.
And we are here. This is it. If you're trying to figure out what game to buy for 2021, these will be the ones you have to get because we are the smartest people you're ever going to meet. And this is going on the internet, so it has to be true.
Yes, 100%.
All right, my number 1. The very first game in a new line called Expert from Yellow.
Oh.
We've seen this one already.
Cora.
Rise of an Empire. I love this game. Picked this up at Origins, which was in September?
Something like that.
And between September and December, this actually became one of my most played games of the year as well. So we just played this game to death. I've played it at all player counts. I think it's a little long at 4. I think 2 is probably the sweet spot. It's really good with 3. But if you like tracks, this game is Trackapalooza. It's tracks on tracks on tracks on tracks. There's military tracks. There's citizens tracks. There's tax track. There's all kinds of different tracks. You're moving up on all these tracks. And like he had mentioned earlier about it kind of being a little Castles of Burgundy, you're rolling dice and you're using those dice to select your actions. And there's ways to mitigate the luck of the dice rolls. You can spend your citizens to change your dice rolls. I'm not really sure what you do with the citizens. I don't know if they just die or where they go, but they have nice ponytails on the box. We always call them ponytail people. You use those to mitigate your dice rolls. You can go out on missions, gathering different things. You're trying to increase your civilization. You spend different resources. Red, blue, and green essentially is what they are. The theme's a little light maybe, but this game is just so good. I can't say enough good things about it. We love it. We play it frequently. The art, if I had to get really nitpicky, I think you mentioned you like the art. The art's a little...
I love the art.
It's I don't know. I like it, but it's a little dry maybe. The board itself is a little plain Jane.
It is, but it's sad though because there's a good amount of cards and a lot of art across those cards, but they kind of went function. They focus more on the functionality of the cards, which is fantastic. But I feel like there are these fantastic pieces of artwork that are shrunk down to these really tiny sizes due to that. Which I feel like they could have made like full bleed art and stuff, and it would have really been nice.
Yeah, I don't know if the price point would have been up much more if they did that or something. But I like the player colors. They're different. They're different players. Like they're more muted, I guess. And everybody has their own. It's asymmetrical. Everybody's got a different civilization that they're working on that has different, starting resources, different ways that they advance their civilization, different powers they get for that, different in-game victory points based on how well your civilization does. I love it. It is a great game. I highly recommend it. I hope that the expert line from Yellow continues and just continue to put out great games.
Yeah, totally exciting to see what they do next.
Yeah, and considering it came from a group of designers versus just one designer. I think they were called the Headquarter Simulation Game Club designed this game. So, look forward to see what else they do here in the future.
That's probably the worst name I've ever heard for a group of individuals.
I believe that was what they're called. Cora, Rise of an Empire.
Banging.
Get it.
Drum roll, please.
Number
Number one game I played in 2021, Brian Baru. Man, I just love this game. About the only trick-taking game I like. The art reminds me of those old childhood Bible story books.
It looks like my Sunday school Bible, for sure.
I love it and hate it all at the same time. But it's got oversized cards with the art just bleeds all over them. It looks fantastic. It's that strange mixture of trick-taking and area control. It's just a heck of a game. There are some of those weird, quirky rules, like the cleanup phase at the end of each round where you see with the Viking invaders and all that. But once you do it once or twice, it makes sense why they did that, because it kind of
balances it a little bit,
I guess, or it kind of makes it to where you don't always want to be the number one in all those categories.
because you lose all of your troops.
Yes, I've had some games where I've had like an unspoken alliance with another player where we would kind of stay on the same playing field, so that way neither of us had to get rid of all of our Viking Invader tokens, but we got the points and just had to get rid of one.
Kind of same way with the cathedral, is it? Or the priest,
the church, sending people to church.
Yeah. Some of the rules are a little quirky and a little hard to understand at first, and even the board kind of lays out on the board. There's symbology of what you do at the end of the round for kind of the end of the round cleanup, and even looking at those symbols on the board, it's not exactly clear the first time through what those mean or trying to tell you to do. But
yeah, like several times when I've taught the game to people who are familiar with games, I would start explaining the end of round cleanup, and they would kind of look at me and take the rule book, and because they didn't believe me. And
yeah, it is a great game. I definitely agree with your just making this one number one. I know it wasn't one on my list, but it is a great game. You should go get it.
Stat
ASAP. You need to control areas. You need to find yourself a spouse. You need to go to the church and fight off Vikings immediately.
100%. So yeah, I feel like 2021 was a banging year for board games.
It was a great year. There was so many good games that came out. So many good games that we haven't even had a chance to play yet. So, yeah.
Well, that wraps up our top 10 games that were released in 2021. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is 2 years in a row, so we're just giving the people what they want.
What they want. What
These
they've
are
been
the
begging for.
Begging. You have no idea. People, I'll be walking down the street and people will be like, hey, the list you did last year, we need another one this year. It happens.
They
all
stop
the time.
you.
Stop it.
They
Stop me.
Jolly Pirate Donuts.
Jolly Pirate.
Excuse me, sir. We need more lists.
About a year ago, you did a list on the best games, and it was definitive. That's their words, not mine.
Live my life by your lists, sir. Well, that wraps up our top 10 games released in 2021. Leave a comment down below on something that maybe we overlooked, or if you just completely disagree with one of our picks. And as always, thanks for watching another episode of Rolling with the Beard. Please consider clicking that subscribe button and joining us again. Thanks for watching. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us and banging out the top 2,000. Was that weird? No,
Thanks for joining us and banging it out. Hey, glad to help you bang it out. Call me anytime you want to bang it out.
Did my face give that away?
Yeah. Don't say banging it out. That is a fine cactus that came from at home or something.
I mean, it looks like it's thriving.
It is. She actually tried to throw that away. I have bamboo too that we can put between us. Post.
This isn't his first rodeo.
Yeah.
Your other video was dark.
Then I need to make them even brighter in post.
I texted you as soon as I watched it.
Oh, the Roomba's gonna eat the cables.